Welcome back to Game Talk from the Bench. I'm your host, Drew Barreto, and today I'm here with my co-host, my uncle Andrew Barreto. And today we're talking Week 10 football, Week 11 predictions. We got some NBA news surrounding some GMs that made some controversial trades. We'll get into that later. And then MLB has released some of the award winners, so we'll talk about that. But to start us off, Week 10. It was a strange week, to say. It was boring games, exciting games ending in the same score. It was weird. Starting off on Thursday Night Football, we had Broncos Raiders, and let's just say if you didn't watch this game, it was probably for the best. This was terrible. No offense, no defense. I know it was very windy. Punters were. We had one great punter from the Raiders. AJ Cole had two punts land
Yeah,
at the 1 yard line. Then we had the Broncos punter that kept punting the ball out of bounds. That was probably like the best
they were
plays of the
booing him.
game. Yeah,
That was
Broncos are
that was
getting
the
booed in their own
action. They
stadium.
were booing him in their own stadium. Yeah,
They ended up getting the win. A couple injuries to the offensive lines for both teams happened. Broncos defense dominated. Raiders defense played great, but yeah, it was a boring game. Broncos ended up winning 10-7. They're 8-2, but they are the probably most fraudulent 8-2 team. They beat the Raiders, who are what are they 2-7.
yeah.
Um,
After
they
after
beat the
that
they
game, yeah, I
Yeah,
question
they
the
barely beat the
Broncos.
Raiders. They barely beat the Jets in, I believe, London. And they played a bunch of other low end teams, but they're 8-2. They lead the division, but yeah, they have squeaked by a couple wins against some bad teams. But then, but yeah, if you don't watch that game, good. You did not miss out on
I
anything.
don't think you like football. If you would have watched that game and you would have said, "This is football. Is this a
Yeah, if
prime
that was your
time? This is
first football
Amazon."
game. Yeah,
Then if that was your first, yeah, you were completely not watching football anymore because it was just lousy. Four three and outs constantly, like you said, punters were getting the most screen time. It was just bad on both sides. It was just tough
yeah.
to watch, and I hung in there just to see if the Raiders could, maybe do something
I
besides a
was
fourth and two
I was
sneak.
hanging. I'm As a Raiders fan, I was hanging in there because I picked the Broncos to win, and I was stressing that the
Yeah,
Raiders would win the game, and I was like, this can't happen. But finally, they squeaked out the
yeah,
win, so I was like, ooh.
yeah. It was
But yeah, and then
bad.
we had a
I
game.
agree.
But Sunday morning, I didn't even know we had an international game, but it's between the Colts and the Falcons. And this game went to overtime. But Daniel Jones, he had a decent game. He went 255 yards, a touchdown, INT. But man, Jonathan Taylor, I don't think right now there's any other player in the league that deserves MVP more than this guy. 32 carries, 244 yards, three touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I woke up early enough to catch this second half. So yeah, it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. I mean, more for the Colts. Taylor was just running all over them, as you could see by the stats, and he did it in OT as well to
Yeah,
put a
won the
night night
game.
on that
Yep,
game.
he's
But
been.
yeah, I agree. I think you're looking. What does he have? I don't have it in front of me. What he has, his total
I don't know
rushing is
what he.
probably over 1,000, I would think. But
Yeah, I think he's
um,
got 15 plus touchdowns, maybe already. I don't know. This is like his
oh,
sixth game with three touchdowns, or like fifth game with like three touchdowns. But
yeah,
he's been insane. This like I talked about, I believe, earlier when we first started this podcast. Maybe I didn't, but I said I believed Saquon deserved the MVP because what he was doing on the field, obviously, it made Jalen Hurts' job a lot easy last season. I thought Saquon fully deserved the MVP because he just was the reason that Eagles team basically won the Super Bowl. I know the defense played great in that game, but he was like the main offense, right? And he made the passing game come easy. And that's what Jonathan Taylor's been doing so far. I mean, you looked at Daniel Jones last year, you'd think he was a lost cause. You look at him this year, you'd be like, wow, this guy looks like a top 10 quarterback in the league. And it's because Jonathan Taylor has made it simple for Daniel Jones. He opens up the pass game because everyone's expecting the run, and even when they do expect the run, Jonathan Taylor's still getting 6 yards per carry, and then boom, they go play action pass, and now Daniel Jones has 200 plus passing yards and a couple touchdowns. I mean, he's just been such an impact for the Colts, and they're 8-2, and they're rolling, and especially after they had a bad loss against the Steelers, I believe last week. They come back. Obviously, it was a close game, but they ended up pulling it out, and that's what good teams do. Good teams find a way to win, and that's what the Colts did. And they did have an injury. Obviously, they had Sauce Gardner. He played pretty good. I know he gave up a touchdown, but DeForest Buckner landed on the IR. So that's a little bit of a tough blow, but they found a way to win this game, and then that's huge.
Yeah, you got Taylor has 1,139 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns
15.
already, and they're 8-2. Through 10 games, that's what he has. I mean, he's approaching Saquon records, which was or Saquon yards, which he accomplished. What
Yeah.
was it last year, I believe? And this is coming off of a talk before. Remember, no one wanted to pay the running backs. They were
Mm-hmm.
kind of giving them a back seat
Exactly.
because
Yep.
I mean the rules have changed obviously for the quarterback, and receivers are now getting more targets, more touches than ever
Yep.
before. And these running backs have something to say. Barkley had something to say last year, where I think he was close to 2,000 yards.
No,
And
he had
Jonathan,
2,000. I believe
did he have
Saquon
two
had two.
thousand?
He had a little
Okay.
bit over a 2,000. He was, I believe, like 70 yards off from the record or something like that. He
Oh,
was a little bit off the record, but yeah, I believe he had 2,000 yards and about I think 15 touchdowns. And Taylor's already matched that. And we're like you
Taylor's
said, we're only 10 weeks
already
in.
he's got the touchdowns already, so we'll see what the yards. I mean, at this pace, yeah, that's a hands down MVP right there because the Colts are going to go as far as Taylor will bring them.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happened last year with the Eagles and Saquon. They went as far as Saquon could take them, and he took them all the way. So we'll see how that ends up for them, but it's looking good for the Colts. Moving on to some final scores, Jets beat the Browns 27-20. They get their second one of the year. That was a pretty
Nice.
close game actually. It was 27-20. That was close. The Panthers. I didn't realize before this game they were 5-4 and had a chance to move to 6-4. Instead, they decided to forget how to play football after beating the Packers last week, and they lost 17-7 against the Saints. Bucks pull out. I mean, Patriots pull out a close one against the Bucks, 28-23. Um, Trayvon Henderson was incredible this game. He had two big runs. One of them basically iced the game. He was incredible. Patriots hopefully have found their running back for the future. It's just up to Mike Vrabel to see if he sticks with them. Ravens got a big win over the Vikings, and one thing I didn't notice, we'll talk about a little more, is how bad the AFC North has been this year. Usually it's a really competitive division, but this year I think anyone could take it, and I think the Ravens are coming for it.
Let's see.
But moving on,
AFC North.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
AFC
right. I
North.
mean, Ravens. Everyone was talking. Lamar was hurt. They're talking him out of the. They're out of the playoff picture, and they're right in the mix. What are they? I think
They've
they're a
won
game
three
behind the
straight.
Steelers, and
Exactly.
Steelers have been
Bengals.
playing some. I
Yep.
guess maybe their play callers, their offensive coordinator, they're not putting many points up right now, and so yeah, the Ravens could go ahead and overtake that soon.
Yeah, they definitely can, and it's like I said, it's anyone's division in that division. Anyone could take it, but yeah. Moving on to Bills Dolphins, and after the Bills had a big win over the Chiefs last week, they got demolished by the Dolphins. They lost 30-13. No words to say about that other than the Bills. I don't even know how to say.
just,
I said they're not
just when you
good.
think,
Yeah, just when you
we keep talking about this,
we
right?
talked about it.
Just
We
when we
said if they
think,
could win the game, if they
yeah,
could win last week against the Bills,
uh,
it would send a statement to the league. They won last week, but then they follow up with this type of performance, and then you're back to square one of like they're not a Super Bowl contender, right? And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to
yeah.
say.
I mean, it's that definitely doesn't make Bills fans. It's not encouraging for to them thinking that they could win it all. I mean, now you look at other teams, Patriots, for instance, and, they're playing outstanding, but I guess
Yep.
see how it goes down the line there towards the end of the season, and I'm pretty sure that whoever's healthier will prevail.
Yeah, and then moving on to Bears Giants. Giants had a chance to win this game. Jackson Dart was playing phenomenal until he left the game with a concussion. He did not return. Russell Wilson was in at quarterback, but Caleb Williams brought the Bears back and ended up winning this game. And he was fantastic. He struggled. I mean, I didn't watch the first half, but he wasn't that great in the first half. Checking if you looked at the stats, but in the second half, watching him play, he was evading sacks. I mean, he was doing it all offensively, getting the ball downfield, scoring a rushing touchdown. I mean, he was fantastic in that fourth quarter to complete the comeback. But then Jaguars, who just acquired Jacoby Myers, were looking to have an easy win against the Texans. They were up 29-10 in the fourth quarter, and then they ended up blowing the game 36-29. I don't even know how that happened. I didn't watch it, but I don't know how they blew a 19-point lead within 15 minutes of football. I mean, I was just
I
stunned.
see, yeah, I see 26 points on the box score, 26 points in the fourth quarter. That's
I know at
unheard
the
of.
very end the Texans got like a pick six or a fumble six, but I just couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. It was just like wow, wow. I was as a team like the Jaguars are trying to make the playoffs. They lose to I believe C.J. Stroud didn't even play this game. No, Davis Mills played this game, and then the Blues, and it was just unbelievable. But moving on, Seahawks demolished the Cardinals 44-22. Sam Darnold basically didn't have to do much. The defense did mostly everything against Jacoby Brissett. Lions beat the Commanders 44-22. That's what I'm saying. Two scores ended up in the same thing. Rams ended up beating the Niners 42-26. That was almost like the same scores of the other two games. A lot of high scoring in the 1 o'clock games. Um, Niners just dealing with the injuries. They fall to 6-4. Rams go to 7-2. Seattle, though, I believe is they're also 7-2. So that the NFC West is it's close. It's close.
What do
Obviously,
you think about that right there? It's like Niners win that game, now they're sitting pretty in the NFC West, but now they're
yeah,
falling behind. You got two
yeah.
teams at 7-2, and Seahawks and Rams, two teams playing like some of the best football right now.
And I know that the Niners still have to play Seattle one more time, and I think the Seattle will get the best of them, um, the second time around. But yeah, I mean it's tough. Like with the Niners, obviously with the backup of Mac Jones, dealing with all the injuries. I mean it's gonna be tough. Like they got off to a good start, which was huge. They started off 4-0. Since then they've been 2-4. So we'll see. I mean a lot of football left, but yeah, it's getting close. But moving on to Sunday Night Football, Chargers Steelers, and after the Steelers had just stopped Jonathan Taylor, they shut down the Colts offense. Chargers has lost Joe Alt. I'm thinking this Steelers defense is gonna feast on Justin Herbert. And the opposite had happened. They won 25-10. Aaron Rodgers had the worst performance of his career. He had career lows in almost everything. QB rating, passing percentage, completions. I mean, the Steelers offense couldn't get anything going. Chargers defense showed up and they got themselves a huge win. They move on to 7-3. As the AFC West is also a pretty close division between the top three teams, but Chargers get a big win. Steelers drop one that I think they should have won, and like we talked about earlier, the NFC North is wide open for a team like maybe the Bengals to come back. But as of right now, the Ravens are looking to take that division.
Right, right. I didn't see that any of that game, but I did look at the some of the box score at the end. So it's like, yeah, is Aaron Rodgers is the age showing up right now? Because they're not offensively. I just it's obviously that it's missing.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's strange because in some weeks they look really good, and other weeks they just look really bad. They're just so on and off. It's crazy. I mean, that's the NFL for you, I guess to say. Um, but moving
yeah,
on
and
to
then the
Monday night.
Chargers were at home.
Yeah, yeah. Continue.
Oh no, no, yeah, I was just they're at home, and they're trying to win that West as well. So it's kind of like um, it looks like they had Herbert had a pretty good game, 220,
Hmm.
one touchdown, and McConkey 4 receptions, 107 yards. So
Yeah, he had a
they
big.
just they just clicked more on that day, but it just Steelers we start to wonder. Like we're saying in that North, I mean, some team, someone might make it with a losing record in the playoffs
Yep,
there if
they
that could
might.
happen.
They might. I mean, like I said, McConkey had a big catch in the fourth quarter, and that led to a touchdown. But yeah, yeah, they're trying to Chargers trying to win that division. Obviously, the Broncos are one game ahead of them, but we'll have to see. It'll probably come down to the wire. Moving on to Monday Night Football. For those of you that don't know, Disney and ESPN, not ESPN, Disney and YouTube TV are having contract negotiations. So Monday night, ESPN and ABC is um not on YouTube TV. So which many people watch Monday Night Football on. But I guess this was a good thing that this game wasn't nationally televised because if you watch this Monday Night Football game, it was might have been worse than Thursday night. Especially with the two teams playing. We obviously know the Raiders are not good. Eagles and Packers are two good teams, but I've talked about the Packers.
Yeah.
I said sometimes they don't look that great to me. They lost last week to the Panthers, which was a great example. This week wasn't much better. Eagles end up winning 10-7. It was 0-0 at halftime. When you have star players like Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, and on the other side you got Jordan Love, Christian Watson, Josh Jacobs, you'd think these
Josh
offenses are
Jacobs.
putting up 20 plus. Because the defense, I would be honest, defense on both sides isn't that insane. They're good, but they're not crazy good. But yeah, this game was brutal to watch. Brutal.
Good. I didn't watch any of it. I just, like I said, like we said earlier, I tuned in. Well, I checked out the score after the third, and it was like 3-0, and I didn't even bother. I'm like, oh, that's gonna put me to sleep. Uh, so then I just waited till it was over. Saw it was 10-7. Nothing too exciting, and Eagles go to 7-2.
Yeah, Eagles are they're still winning games. Well, this game was a little concerning, but they're got a good record. They're 7-2, and they'll most likely be in the playoffs. So we'll see how far they'll go. But moving on to week 11 and our predictions. Thursday Night Football, we have Patriots Jets. I think this will be a great opportunity for Drake May to make his MVP case. I think this is a great game where you put up stats and make yourself look great in front of the world. Obviously, this is easy for me. I got the Patriots winning. They've just been so dominant. They had a big win against the Bucks this past week, um, and they're looking to go on a playoff run.
Yeah, that one there. The Jets had their streak, 2 games in a row. It's gonna get snapped, especially Thursday night, in New England. And yeah, actually, I'm looking at the spread. They're already favored by 12.5. So that tells you right there who everybody's picking.
Yeah. And then we have another international game on Sunday. Games at 6:30 in the morning. We got Dolphins Commanders. Both pretty bad teams, but after the way the Dolphins played last week and with all the injuries to the Commanders, I think the Dolphins will get this victory. Mike McDaniel will stay as head coach. For the Dolphins for at least the remainder of the year. So I think this should be a game they could win and hopefully help him keep his job for next year because I do think he is a great offensive minded coach. Um, and so we'll see we'll see the news on him to see if he'll stay the head coach for next year. But yeah, I got the Dolphins winning that game.
Yeah, Madrid, Spain, 6:30 in the morning. Well, time to wake up. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going with the Dolphins too. They look pretty good against the Bills, and I think they continue that as against the injured riddled Commanders. As they go, that's what happens. Some of your star players go down, and so does your season. So they'll be feeling it the rest of this year. And I think Dolphins end up getting another victory.
Yeah, and we got an NFC North match. We just talked about the division, but Bengals play the Steelers. And honestly, Joe Burrow is practicing this week. And if he plays this game, I think the Steelers, I mean not the Steelers, I think the Bengals will end up taking this game. They beat him last time without Joe Burrow, and I think they'll beat him with Joe Burrow. So I got the Bengals winning that game, and then the Ravens play the Browns, and I think that's an easy one for me. The Ravens are on fire right now. They're on a win streak. I got the Ravens beating the Browns, and I think Bengals and the Ravens will be the ones fighting out for the division.
Yeah, Ravens and Browns. Yep, Ravens are going for the. They're already favored 7.5 points. So yeah, I'll take the Ravens on that one, and then you got Steelers and Bengals. That one's a little bit closer. Steelers are favored to win by 5.5 points. Um, but yeah, that news, like if it happens of Joe Burrow playing, of course that's going to change that spread right
Hmm.
there. But I think after this rough loss, Steelers come out strong and they get this against the Bengals. Sorry.
Yeah, and then we have a big NFC West matchup. Going for first place, we have Seattle and LA, the Rams versus the
All
Seahawks. And
right.
this is going to be a shootout, hopefully. Jackson Smith and Jigba, obviously Rashid Shaheed now on the Seahawks. Rams, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams. Although Devontae Adams did suffer an oblique injury on the game against the Niners this past week, so we'll see if he plays. But ooh, this is tough. This is tough because man, that Rams defense is sneaky good. Jared Verse, Byron Young, those are two great edge rushers. Um, but man, I just think, oh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the Rams still. I think the Rams just got at it. I don't know. Seattle's offense has been great, but I don't know if that O line. I think the Rams D line will get to Sam Darnold, and I'm gonna go with the Rams on this one. This is a tricky one though.
Yeah, like a good game here. Battle for first, in the NFC West. I'm going to take Seattle there. I don't. I'm anti Devontae Adams in whichever team he goes to.
Yeah, yeah,
He's catching touchdowns now from Matthew Stafford. And so now he's happy. But yeah, we talked. He was a disgruntled another disgruntled Raider fan, Raider receiver. I don't blame him though. And no one
yeah.
could throw you the ball. You know what I mean? If no one could throw you the ball, and that's your whole purpose as the receiver in the
Yeah.
NFL. Uh, I don't blame you, but I'm going with the Seahawks.
Yeah, and then we got a big matchup in the AFC West. Chiefs Broncos. Obviously, we talked about the Broncos. They're 8-2. Obviously, I said they're fraudulently 8-2. But this is a big game for the Chiefs because they're 5-4. Obviously, the Broncos. Yeah, they might be, like I said, the most fraudulent 8-2 team, but they're still 8-2 for a reason. And the Chiefs are 5-4. I mean, if they lose this game, they drop to 5-5, and their playoff chances just will continue to decrease. But if they win this game, move to 6-4, they have a good shot of still making the postseason. And so I mean, the Broncos. I know it was a windy game. They're in Denver though. I think the Broncos defense is just too good. I think they'll shut it down against Mahomes and the Chiefs. I think the Broncos will win and move to 9-2. Even though I know I just said they are fraudulent, but I just don't think the Chiefs have it this year. I just don't think the Chiefs have it this year. I mean Nick
Yeah,
Bonito was incredible on he was like one of the highlights on that Thursday night football game. He was incredible against the Raiders, and I think he'll continue to have a monster season.
yeah, no, he looked great. He was just killing everybody in the silver and black that game. Yeah, the Broncos are 5-0 at home. And I think there's a little confusion here from the gamblers as well, from the Vegas odds. KC is favored 3.5, and the Broncos are at home, so they don't know really who to go with on this one as well. If Are the Broncos fraudulent, as you say? Because maybe that
They
maybe
might
this
win the
is
Super
the
Bowl. Who
victory.
knows?
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe this is the victory that changes the minds of
It might. It might. It
but
could.
I'm going with the Chiefs here. I think
All
if
right.
there's one team still that
Think it's
could
Mahomes?
make a move. We talked about the Ravens going to be able to make a move and probably be one of the few teams to make the playoffs after starting. I forgot what the
I believe they were one and
what,
five.
one, yeah, something like that. And then they end up with, there's only like what, 4 or 5 teams maybe that's done that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the Chiefs as well, they started off poor, but I think they're going to be someone, those guys are, Mahomes is, one of the best quarterbacks in the league for a reason. And regardless of who the receivers are, he's always made them look better. So I'm going with the Chiefs here to make the Broncos,
All right.
make them humble. Go back, think about it. Go back to the drawing board. Sean
All
Payton, draw
right.
some
I
new
like
plays
it.
up.
I like it. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, we got Lions, Eagles. This will be an interesting one. Dan Campbell took over offensive play calling, and they put up 44 points
Yeah.
against the Commanders. And the Eagles only put up 10 points. This is a strange one. Lions got a lot of offensive power, but so do the Eagles. Eagles will be at home, though. They won't be in Lambeau. I think I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think, after a tough win on Monday Night Football, I think they'll get the job done against the Lions. I don't think Lions have lost some games they should have won this year, and think I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think I
Yeah,
believe in Jalen Hurts. I believe in Saquon. I'm gonna go with those. I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
these Lions, this, like you said, Campbell just took over the offensive play calling, and he's onto something here. 44 points. And all the usual suspects are putting up points. Goff, Gibbs, St. Brown. So I'm gonna go with them to get this victory here. Looks like the Eagles currently are favored by 2.5. So it's kind of like it's pretty close there on the betting line, but I think the Lions continue that. It's just a lot of too much offense, I feel. So I'm gonna go with the Lions.
All right, and the Monday Night Football, we have the Cowboys and the Raiders. Obviously, this Cowboys on a bye week this past week. Raiders are one of the worst teams in the league. Cowboys
Yeah,
made some defensive moves. I think this is an easy pick. I think America's team is gonna win on Monday Night Football in Vegas. Jerry Jones and the Gambler will be gambling in Vegas, but they will win.
yeah. Jeez, I don't know. Am I even gonna watch? I don't know.
I don't think
I'll
we're.
take the opposite of you on this one. How about
You're gonna
that?
go
I'll
with the
take the
Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah.
I'll take the Raiders. Chip Kelly scores more than one touchdown. Like he calls a play and they score more than one touchdown. How
All
about that?
right. Well,
Which I'm surprised
yeah.
he still has a job, by the way. I thought,
Yeah. Well, the Raiders
having
did fire
zero
their
against the
special
Chiefs.
teams. The Raiders did fire the special teams coordinator after Thursday Night Football because every special teams play resulted in a flag against the Raiders, so they ended up firing their special teams
Oh, really?
coordinator.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's all for our Week 10 and Week 11 predictions. Moving on to some NFL news. Eagles cornerback Jair Alexander is stepping away from football. They just traded for him. He's dealing with an injury. He's currently stepping away to focus on his health mentally and physically, and that's huge news for the Eagles. You know, you trade for a guy, you expect him to play, and now he's stepping away. So that is huge news. Free agent cornerback Asante Samuel signing with the Steelers practice squad. Obviously, the Steelers do need some defensive help. Jaguars cornerback and wide receiver Travis Hunter undergoes season-ending knee surgery that is brutal to my fantasy team because he was just starting to do pretty good. But yeah, so some huge news to teams trying to make the playoffs. And so we'll see how things end up for those three teams. But huge news. That's all the news. That's not much NFL news, but those are the biggest ones. But moving on to the NBA, we'll go over some NBA standings. I figured this would be easier than trying to go over individual games.
Yeah.
We'll do individual games for the playoffs. But as of right now, the Pistons lead the East. They're 9-2. Um, which honestly isn't a surprise. I'm trying to remember. Were they a playoff team last year? I don't think they were. Were they?
They were. Yeah, I
I
believe
believe they
they
were.
snuck it. I don't have it on me, but they're a young up and coming team. I think
They're a
we have
young up and
talked
coming
about
team.
that before. And Cade Cunningham, which I want to say he's top scorer in the league right now. He
Yeah, he's
had,
playing like an MVP.
yeah, what did
Yeah,
he
he's
have?
leading
Like
his team.
46 points last night or
I
something
thought
like
he had a
that.
triple double the other night. I might be wrong. It's hard. There's a lot of NBA games playing. I could only focus on so many and see what posts up on social media. But yeah, no, the Pistons lead at 9-2, followed by the Knicks who are 6-3. Heat just got a game-winning dunk off by Andrew Wiggins. They're 7-4. Cavs are 7-4. Bucks are 7-4. Um, I'll just go top eight. Bulls are 6-4. Josh Giddey's been playing great for the Bulls. Sixers are 6-4. Hawks are 6-5. So that's the top eight. Um, Obviously it's still early in the year, only 10 games in. But yeah, Pistons are leading the way, and if they continue this though, they could have run away with the first seed. I mean, we talked about it. The East is wide open, especially with the injuries. The star players like Jason Tatum, Dame went back to Portland, and then Tyrese Halliburton is out for the year. So we'll see then. And in the Western Conference, Thunder are still the Thunder. The defending champs are looking to go back to back. They are currently 10-1. I believe the game's probably over. They just played Golden State and they destroyed Golden State. Um, so they'll probably be 11-1. But yeah, they are dominating, like they did last year. Spurs are
Yeah,
behind them at 8-2.
126 to 102. OKC, they're 11-1 now. Yeah, they destroyed the
Yeah,
Warriors.
yeah. The Spurs are behind them 8-2. Wemby's been playing great. Stephon Castle's been playing great. Following them is the Nuggets. They're 7-2, and then the Lakers, Rockets. Oh no, the Lakers are 8-3. LeBron yet to return. I believe he is starting to practice with their G League team though. So they'll get LeBron back soon. Rockets 6-3. Timberwolves 7-4, and then the Warriors are seventh at 6-5, and then the Suns are 6-5. Now a surprising team. They're currently only 5-5 right now. But the Portland Trailblazers handed the Thunder their first loss of the year. And the Portland Trailblazers look like a good team. They got some young, good guys. Denny Avdia, since coming to Portland, he's been a great scorer. Tamani Kamara, he's been fantastic. He's been a great defender, 3-and-D type of guy. I mean, they're a pretty good team. I mean, right now they're obviously we'll start like I said, 10 games in. They're the ninth seed, but they could be a team that could sneak into the playoffs and cause some trouble. I mean, they are a sneaky good team. Obviously, Donovan Clingan in his second year. Um, they could be a team that can make some noise. That's all I'm gonna say for now. But don't be surprised if the
Yeah,
Trailblazers.
I like it.
Don't be
I like it.
surprised if
Not
the
bad.
Trailblazers make some noise, this year in the NBA. But that's
Yeah,
You want to say
it
something?
definitely won't be it definitely won't be the Dallas Mavericks.
No,
Because
it
they
will
are
not.
3-8 right now, and
I
as you
mean, they
know,
will.
things are not going well.
Yeah, they are dealing with injury. Obviously, Anthony Davis is currently injured. Kyrie's still coming back
Kyrie.
from the ACL. And then a couple of their depth guys are injured. But yeah, they aren't looking too good. And that's actually what we're going to talk about next. Is they just fired Nico Harrison. Obviously he made the crazy trade last year. You know, traded Luka for AD. Obviously they got the first overall pick. I thought that was going to save his job because he drafted Cooper Flag. But yeah, they're 3-8. They don't look good. Klay Thompson's having the worst year of his career. Like I said, they're dealing with the injuries. And Luka's playing like an MVP in the West or on the Lakers. So yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he didn't get fired when that trade first went down. But it was only in time. It was gonna
It
happen.
was. It was a matter of time. You trading away, all NBA player, who they just came off of an NBA Finals appearance. Trading him away and getting them often injured Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and then I think they got a first rounder, and who knows what? Oh, that's not till 2029. But yeah, it was just a matter of time. Fans displayed their frustrations, right from the beginning all the way to now. I mean, it's playing a huge part of him being fired. Is they're just constantly booing over there at those games because they're 3-8, and you look at the other side where Luca's at. They're 8-3. They're
Yeah,
number 4 currently in this young NBA season, and him and AR Austin Reeves is
yeah.
they're lining up right now.
They're
Austin
playing
Reeves
good,
is
and they're playing good without
good
LeBron. So
basketball.
we'll see if LeBron
Exactly.
affects them negative. Well,
Yeah.
if he has a positive impact or a negative impact. But yeah, they're playing great without LeBron. But we'll see how they play when he returns. Now we'll talk a little bit about the All-Star Game 2026. Although it is in February, so we're pretty far out still. But they got the new format, USA versus World format for the 2026 All-Star Game. And like I said, in LA, it says 2 USA teams and 1 World team will battle out in a round robin tournament with 4 12-minute games. Um, Obviously, last year they had like the I forget how many different teams they had of like eight
Yeah, that, it was a
players.
lot.
Yeah, I just feel like they should just go back to East versus West.
That's the old school. That's what I like. I mean, that's what I
Yeah,
grew up watching. East
East
versus
versus
West.
West. Let them wear their jerseys.
Jordan against Matt. They're these Magic. They're
Yeah,
on separate teams. You know what I mean? Like last year, I
and
thought it was just a
especially because
debacle.
it gives more players. There's like if when they have the draft of overall players, a lot of players from the West will get in compared to the East. But if it goes back to East and West, we'll get a lot more players on the East. Guys like Cade Cunningham, guys like from the teams that are playing well, and deserving of an All Star that gets snubbed. We all talk. Trae Young gets snubbed a lot. And he's a 25 and 10 type of player. Um, so I think they should go back to East versus West. I think it'll give the most deserving West players, obviously the All Star, and then obviously the most deserving East players of guys that might not make it if one as of now when they do this big old bundle of
This
draft that
pool,
they normally
this
do.
pool,
Yeah,
this
the
draft
pool of
that they're
players.
gonna
There you go.
have. Uh, but yeah, last year, they had the OGs go against the young stars, and
Yeah.
young stars end up losing. And yeah, I'd like to see Curry throw an alley oop to, Anthony Edwards. They'd be on the West together. You know what I mean? Something
Hmm.
like that. Uh, that's the old school format. I mean, that's what I currently like. They're trying different things, trying to draw, get the ratings up for the event, but I'm just trying something new, so we'll see how it goes.
Now, question for you: LeBron's been out so far. He's obviously been like an All Star in every year of his career. Do you think he somehow still makes the All Star team?
I thought about that just recently for Curry. Curry's missed what, three
Yeah, he
games?
missed 3 games, but I mean, LeBron's missed the first 10. I mean, that's
Yeah, that's no. I don't think. I mean, somebody's always getting left off of that's deserving. You
that's
just
true.
mentioned Trae Young. There's always somebody left off, and I think like guys like LeBron. Yeah, you haven't played yet. I mean, I don't think you have to have a minimum. I would think. I don't know if that's what they have, but you need a minimum games played to be eligible for
Yeah.
that All-Star nod. If you get selected. Um, yeah, it's tough, especially when you have injuries and you're a famous player like that. Those guys almost automatically. He's probably in the All Star game right now, if they held it
Yeah.
anyways. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're taking a spot away from guys who are working hard. That's why sometimes when you see someone new, you're like, oh, Alfred Sagoon made it. Oh, good for you, man.
Hmm.
That's you battled through. Or even God, did Devin Booker make it? I know he's one of the guys who's always
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I
left.
think he made it last year. Yeah, yeah. But no, there's obviously a lot of guys that deserve the spot, and like you said, they get sometimes overtaken by these bigger name players, and yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how who ends it up in this year, and then we can talk about it in February. But yeah, it's always a controversy. Like we talked about Trae Young. Trae Young is a 25 points per game, 10 assist type player, but who constantly finds a way not to make the team somehow. And like I said, it's because they do this pool of players instead of the East versus West, and it's tough, but it's the way the NBA is, and we'll just have to see how it goes.
We'll complain either way. We'll complain
Yeah.
about it either way once the time comes. It's just probably there's just no perfect way to do this. I mean, I think, but we'll yeah, like you said, we'll have to see. But it's just someone's gonna have their feelings hurt.
Yeah. But that is all for the NBA. Moving on to MLB. I know the season's over, but they just released some of the awards. Obviously, Gold Gloves, Silver Sluggers, too many players to name. Um, but the Platinum Glove winners though, in the AL is Bobby Witt Jr., shortstop for the Royals, and then the NL it's Fernando Tatis Jr., the right fielder for the Padres. A lot of controversy there. People thought Patrick Bailey of the Giants should have won it just because stats wise, he was better. But man, Fernando Tatis Jr. robbed about at least 6 home runs. He was incredible in right field. Maybe it's a little bit biased there because I am a Padres fan, but I thought he deserved platinum glove. I mean, the home runs he was robbing were game changing. He was huge. But for the rookie of the years in the AL, it was a battle between the two. I never thought I'd say this. Between the two A's players, the two Sacramento A's, Jacob Wilson, the shortstop, and first baseman Nick Kurtz. And Kurtz ends up winning. He ends up winning the rookie of the year. I mean, he was incredible. I mean, Wilson had a 300 plus average, but Kurtz came in, I believe, I don't know, little either I can't remember, a little before or like halfway through the season. Ended up batting 290, had 36 home runs. I mean, he was incredible. I mean, if he played like the full season, he probably could have been a 50 home run type of player. But yeah, he wins it in the American League. He was phenomenal. They call him the Big Amish. Um, Bright
Mhm.
future for the A's. Hopefully, if they could just retain their guys, have them all in Vegas. I mean, who knows? They could get something special. They just need some pitching, but they have all the hitters. They have the right hitters. They just need some pitching, and they could be a playoff team. But in the NL, it was between catcher Drake Baldwin of the Braves and starting pitcher Cade Horton for the Cubs. Baldwin ends up getting the nod. He wins Rookie of the Year. First catcher since Buster Posey to win Rookie of the Year over Cade Horton. And then the final award that they've announced so far is Manager of the Year. Stephen Vogt goes back to back. And so does Pat Murphy of the Brewers. It's the first time where the same two managers go back to back years with managers of the year. And I mean Pat Murphy I'll agree with. I believe he deserved it last year. Brewers made the postseason. They were one of the better teams in the postseason. Or one of the better teams in the league last year. They bounced in the first round. But they made the postseason and then they were the best team in the NL this year. So I thought that was deserving. Guardians were a playoff team both years, but I thought John Schneider of the Blue Jays deserved the nod in the American League. I mean the Blue Jays made it all the way to the first off, they had the best record in the league. I might be wrong. No, they had the best record in the American League. I believe they had the second best record in the league. But I mean, they went all the way to the World Series, and they were one game away from winning the whole thing. I thought, my personal opinion, I thought John Schneider deserved it. But yeah, tomorrow, today's the 11th. Um, Obviously this video will come out on the 12th, but tomorrow or on when this video comes out, they will announce the Cy Young winners. Um, and then on Thursday, they will release the Hank Aaron Awards, the Reliever of the Year, the Comeback Player of the Year, and the MVP. But that is all for baseball. I just want to give a quick shout out uh, to Pat McAfee. Oh, Pat McAfee. He's a great entertainer. His TikToks of him have just been popping up on my For You page on TikTok, and man, he's just great. He's obviously got his own show, right? The Pat McAfee Show. He's obviously on Sunday Kickoff. I believe he's on Sunday Kickoff for college football, but the dude just knows how to entertain people.
Former punter, right?
Former
For the
punter,
Colts.
former punter from the
Punters, they
Colts.
talk a lot of smack.
They do, they do. But man, he just finds a way to crowd involved, get everyone involved. But man, he's just a great entertainer. So I just gotta give a quick shout out. I mean, I obviously know a lot of people know Pat McAfee. Maybe if you don't, you should look him up. But yeah, he's a funny guy, funny guy. So I just thought I'd throw it out there because I'd seen like 2 TikToks this past week, and I was just like dying laughing on my phone. But yeah, but that is all for today. Thank you all for tuning in. I'd like to thank my co-host, my uncle, for joining me today. Don't forget, check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Spotify. Episodes out every Wednesday. So keep your notifications on. We try to get a couple posts out. Sometimes we try to get post-game reactions, things like that. That is all. Yeah, but one last time, thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, stay ready.